Disclaimer, the comments made in this video are intended for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to offend anyone. Welcome back, folks. Today we are looking at what happens when people rush to the microphone, fueled by confidence, hashtags, and zero foresight. These are the moments when woke certainty lasts about 5 seconds before reality shows up uninvited. First up, a comedian calmly plays along while a woke activist confidently praises Venezuela like it's a success story.
Do you have hope eventually that we could have a system in America more like Venezuela?
Absolutely. That's what I fight for as a member of the Freedom Road Socialist Organization.
What are the most positive things Maduro has done?
A really big thing that we learned about while we were there is how much he has been instrumental in uplifting the women's struggle.
Would you say he's very feminist?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's some of the reason why people in this country are so afraid of communism, because they don't want to see women in charge.
Exactly, they don't want to.
What can we learn from Venezuela's system?
Venezuela's system is super inspiring. When I was there, I looked at visited multiple communes in Venezuela. The communes are how they are building socialist society. They're building the next step of society from within the current state, because they know that their existing, state is a capitalist state. So they're trying to build the new state from within it that is a people's state.
The more she talks, the more the illusion collapses. Buzzwords pile up, logic disappears, and reality never gets invited. He never argues or interrupts. He just lets her finish. Woke culture hates this moment because silence exposes the nonsense better than any debate ever could. Next, a woke activist tries pushing the white privilege script, fully expecting a nod and an apology.
Why don't you black? How come you don't believe white privilege exists? What you see?
I am black in color, but I don't have that dark mentality that most black people have.
Clearly.
I see, she said clearly, I see that white people have the same struggles and things that we have, in that
what type of
they have
struggles
to
do they
make their
have?
marriages work. They have to make their children, help their kids grow up in the right way so that they can earn a living and be independent.
But they also have the majority of their fathers at home.
Right, and the reason for that is starting to change somewhat now, but the reason for that is because they are taking responsibility for that, whereas black men and women are not taking responsibility for that, as they did prior to the civil rights movement. Black people are blaming it on their lack of self-control and self-containment. They're blaming it on white people, while white people are working hard to keep it going.
Instead, she gets calm logic and personal responsibility, served without raising a voice. The talking points fall apart fast, the interruptions stop, and the room goes quiet. Now, a paid protest regular throws out the classic billionaire boogeyman line, loud confidence, zero receipts.
How many protests have you been to so far?
I'm sorry?
How many protests have you been to so far this year?
How many presidents? Protests. At least half a dozen and more to come.
Do you have like a number you want to reach by the end of the year of how many you hope to go to?
No, it's just a point. It's a way to make a point. We, the people, do not agree with what Trump is doing. And one of the things he's doing is he is being bought.
Who's buying
big
him?
Name,
No, who's buying him?
All the billionaires basically are donating to him. Flat out said, send me $1 billion and you can do whatever
Did
you
you vote
want.
for Kamala Harris?
I did.
More billionaires funded her campaign than they did Trump.
Oh, you will never convince me of that.
It's just the truth.
Then a simple fact lands, calmly and clean. Suddenly the slogans freeze, the certainty vanishes, and denial takes over. Woke culture runs on feelings, not facts, and moments like this short-circuit the whole routine in real time. Coming up, we've got a protest sign warrior feeling real confident until one calm question hits.
Anyway, I would love to talk to you about your sign. What's it say?
It says, Isarnusis.
Yeah, what's that mean?
Well,
You can talk to me if you want. Do not listen to these women bossing you
they
around.
say that Trump's neck looks like a part of the female anatomy. So you put it together, okay? Take a look at my shirt. That's from Roland Martin.
You voted for the black woman. The black woman actually voted to put ICE into an operation and actually voted for them to become a thing.
I'm not going to comment on that.
Well, it's funny that the black woman actually voted for that.
Like I said, I'm not going to comment on it.
She was okay with it.
The slogan sounds clever in a crowd, but the second it needs explaining, panic sets in. Suddenly there's side help, deflection, and a quick retreat. Woke culture loves signs and chants, but hates facts that turn their own heroes into contradictions on camera. Here comes another classic. A confident activist answers a simple question with a lecture full of theory and vibes.
Can men have babies?
Yes, men can have babies because not every man is male. And not every woman's female.
What would you say to all the people that say, no, men can't have babies?
I'd say that they need to study kind of the difference between gender and sexuality. Obviously, gender's more of a construct. I'm a male, but I don't consider myself a man necessarily.
The logic sounds bold until it actually leaves their mouth. Words start tripping over themselves, definitions melt, and reality taps out. Woke culture loves redefining everything, but the moment common sense shows up, the whole script collapses on contact. Up next is a woke couple confidently explaining how men and women are basically the same, until one simple comparison ruins the speech.
There's no really big, difference between the two.
There's no difference between the men and women.
There is a difference, but it's not such a difference.
Can you pan to Dave? You think there's not really a big difference between me and Dave over there?
I mean, there is a difference, but I don't think it's as much as people are led to believe.
I'll admit, yes, there is a difference. Yes, absolutely. But I feel like they overly exaggerate it to such a degree in order to foster a sense of fear and concern is nowhere near that level. There's hardly any trans athletes as it is, and yet they make them public enemy number one.
Yeah, so you guys are in a relationship, and you're a boy, and you're a boy. So would you say that you're gay then?
Yes.
Were you born a female then?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I appreciate your time and explaining all that to me.
The talking points start wobbling, labels get tangled, and definitions shift mid-sentence. No shouting, no insults, just calm questions. Woke culture falls apart when reality stands right next to the theory and refuses to play along. Now for this one, a woke student tries rewriting free speech on live TV, thinking confidence beats facts.
Can we use Charlie Kirk as an example?
Yes.
Do you think that Charlie Kirk stood for free speech?
Absolutely.
You do?
Oh my God.
Really? How? Well, tell me about that.
Charlie Kirk was the absolute personification of defending free speech.
Oh, really?
Let me explain why.
Okay.
Charlie Kirk had strong views about a lot of things, many of which you probably don't agree with, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But Charlie Kirk, week after week, around America, would go onto university campuses knowing that most people there didn't agree with him, may have a preconceived view about him, maybe thought he was a fascist and all the other things they called him. And he would sit there in his tent, sometimes outside as he was when he was appallingly assassinated, and he would say, prove me wrong. And people would line up and they come and have a debate like this, and he would listen to them respectfully. He'd challenge them.
No.
He'd argue with them.
That's not what happened.
Sorry, that's exactly what Charlie Kirk did.
Okay, as somebody that...
And for that, he got a bullet.
Then a calm explanation shows up, and the narrative starts slipping. Interruptions follow, denial kicks in, and reality refuses to budge. Woke culture only supports speech it agrees with, and moments like this expose how fast principles vanish when challenged out loud. Here we have another confidence crash. A woke thinker starts redefining masculinity with polished phrases and an academic tone.
And need to learn how to be respectful to not only themselves and their masculinity, they need to rethink what masculinity actually means.
It is masculinity.
Masculinity to me is more of a construct than a physicality.
But is it made up, you think?
Gender really is a social construct in itself, so therefore masculinity and femininity are just followed by those constructs.
My dad actually left my mom for our au pair in Hong Kong.
Right.
When I was dating a Chinese girl, he said Chinese is the last stop on the road to gay.
Oh.
Then history shows up and shuts it down hard. One calm explanation turns into a standing ovation while the outrage gets drowned out by applause. Woke culture hates this because lived experience beats smug lecturing every single time. Coming up, a woke streamer lectures the internet about gender until one harmless pet question slips through the chat.
Automatically say, I know, I am doing something right now, child. Jesus. Upset with me, and he's been knocking stuff over for the last...
Is cat girl or boy?
Stanley is a boy, and it's because of the action that was...
How do you know cat is boy?
I've had his balls nipped. You know what? Maybe, no.
Got him. We've
The answer comes out honest, biological, and instantly disastrous for the narrative. Panic follows, backtracking begins, and the logic short circuits. Woke culture collapses fastest when it accidentally tells the truth without realizing it. Now, a woke activist tries playing the outrage card, framing disagreement as cruelty and hate.
I find that really frightening. I mean, why would you say someone was mentally ill because they feel they were born in the wrong body? I mean, does that give you pleasure or joy to just stamp down on someone's personhood? What's the intent here?
Do you value truth? Because
of course I value
here's what,
truth, yeah.
Good. Then here's what's true. What's true is that if you're a man, you can't be a woman. And if you're a woman, you can't be a man. That's what's true. Your attempt to gaslight everybody into the opposition of this truth builds resentment. And it's that resentment that you have to deal with. And it's you have done it to yourself. Like most most of these things, the left does it to themselves. It's very obvious. People are not going to accept this. The trans agenda has stalled, and it's stalled out the LGBTQ agenda with it because you're trying to gaslight people into something which is obviously not true.
Then a calm question about truth flips the entire mood. No yelling, no insults, just plain statements that leave nowhere to hide. Woke culture depends on emotion to win, and moments like this expose how empty it sounds without it. Next up, we've got the voter ID panic routine in full swing.
If you say you need an ID to vote, you will have unfair bias against those strata of society that don't tend to get IDs and don't want to deal with government.
You don't get an ID because you want to engage with government. You get an ID because you want to drive. You get an ID because you're 21 and you want to have your first drink. You need an ID to do so much in life. Should Americans be required to have ID to vote? Chris, yes or no?
No. I don't believe you want the government having even more control over who can vote and who can't.
It is the lie that they tell so that they can rig our elections by having a bunch of people who are not Americans coming in and voting.
One side treats an ID like an impossible obstacle, as if daily life runs on vibes alone. Then a simple list of facts lands and the argument freezes. Woke culture loves hypotheticals, but it falls apart fast when common sense shows up and asks for a straight answer. Here's a good one. A woke YouTuber starts labeling people and talking down like he's holding a lecture hall.
I would say that being a black conservative pretty much like categorically means you don't have much common sense, yeah.
Do you hate black conservatives?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I do love all people, but I hate black conservatives.
You think they should vote like the radical blacks who are voting for Democrats?
Absolutely.
So you're saying blacks don't have the common sense to make good decisions for themselves?
Black conservatives? Oh no. Because they have the gall of being conservative while having experienced what it means to be under the heel of a white supremacist state. Seems to me they're the ones who should have the greatest interest in voting against it.
How is it that when I was growing up, under the Jim Crow laws, on the plantation, that black people did better than they are today? They had families, they got married, abortion was unheard of, they bought land, they built businesses, they became professionals, they went to college, those that wanted to go. Why were blacks able to do better then than they are today?
Because white folk got more clever. I'll stop treating them like victims. I'll say, hey, you gotta work hard, you gotta overcome your status. At the same time, white folk got more clever.
Then real history shows up and the confidence starts slipping. Calm questions, lived experience, and suddenly the talking points sound hollow. Woke culture hates this because facts from real life ruin the script faster than any argument ever could. This time, it's a woke student confidently explaining identity until one honest reason slips out.
You're refusing to call me he.
You want me to actively call you a boy and call you he. I'm not gonna do it. When did you decide that you were not a girl?
Probably when I was like younger, like.
So what is it about a man that you're like, I want to be a man? So I know like you're like, I don't, about being a girl, it's like, I just don't want to be a girl. Okay, well let's go to what you want to be instead of focusing on the negatives, be the positives. Why do you want to be a man?
There's a lot more privilege to being a man.
So it's like a selfish thing. You're like, I want to be, okay, all right.
Also, like, I just am more comfortable as a boy with the way society views as boys, like all that other stuff. If I look at the way I was treated as a girl versus how I get treated now as like a boy, it's completely different. Things like simple stuff when girls say like, oh, I want to work on this, or they're like, well, no, you're a girl, you can't be doing that. Or like even like simple stuff is like women can't be doctors, even though they technically can. But like if you look at like children's toys and whatnot, it's like, okay, well the man's like, oh, they're doing all this cool stuff, and the girl's like, okay.
The talk starts emotional and righteous, then privilege gets admitted out loud. Laughter follows, excuses pile up, and the explanation spirals. Big speeches sound convincing, but the moment motivation gets questioned, the mask drops, and the logic falls apart fast. Up next, a smooth, self-assured lecture that holds strong until it doesn't.
Shut the f*** up. That is hilarious.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
One short sentence drops, and the room freezes. No shouting, no follow-up, just instant regret hanging in the air. Long performances work when no one interrupts, but a blunt truth cuts straight through and everything collapses. And finally, here's a confident definition delivered with airtight certainty. A basic rule of language steps in and everything grinds to a halt.
Let's watch this because it's so funny.
I think that a woman is anyone who identifies as a woman.
You can't use the word that you're defining in the definition.
Why not?
If the definition of a woman is a woman, do you understand how we still don't know what a woman is?
It's possible.
silence hits, eyes blink, and the confidence drains fast. Repeating slogans carries momentum, but the moment simple logic shows up, the entire argument folds in on itself. And there it is. When feelings lead and logic stays home, regret follows fast. These moments prove that not every opinion needs a stage and not every lecture survives pushback. Like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy watching reality interrupt performative outrage. We will see you next time.